Alright guys, today we are going to be going over some SBAC questions. These are ones you should have seen on the IAB's practice test that you've done, or sorry, questions similar to the ones you should have seen. Let's get started right away. It says 2 types of memberships are available for a local laser tag park. Membership 1 is an unlimited use membership for $100 per month. Membership 2 is a monthly fee of $20 plus $10 per visit. Now the question says, write an equation that can be used to find the number of visits V per month needed for the 2 memberships to cost exactly the same. So if we think about this, we're going to want membership 1 to equal membership 2 in order for them to be the same cost. So let's go ahead and write this. Membership 1 is unlimited use membership for $100 per month. So per month it's $100. And that's going to equal membership 2, which is a monthly fee of $20 plus $10 per visit. And I used V for the visits because that's what is given to me here. Now it doesn't ask us to solve this, it just asks us to write an equation. So that right there is an equation that we can use to find the number of visits per month. Question number 2 says Ryan and Debbie make dog leashes. Ryan can make 8 leashes in 2 hours, and Debbie can make 5 leashes in 1 hour. Write an equation that can be used to find the number of hours T it takes Ryan and Debbie to make 45 leashes together. So if we think about this per hour, how much does each person make? So Ryan can make 8 leashes in 2 hours, which means he can make 4 leashes per hour. And Debbie can make 5 leashes per hour. Now I'm using T here because that's what's given to me here. And we want to know when together they make 45 leashes. So the next part of this question says, what is the number of hours, T, it takes for Ryan and Debbie to make 45 leashes? Well, let's go ahead and solve this. 4T and 5T make 9T, and that equals 45. So if we go ahead and solve here by dividing by 9, we get T equals 5. So it will take them 5 hours to create 45 leashes. Alright, let's go down to question 3 and 4. 3 says, select the ordered pair that is a solution to the equation represented by the graph. So if I look at this graph, and I look at these points, we need to find which one is a solution, so which one lies on the line. So let's start with A. I have -2, 2. Oh, well there you go, it lies on the graph. How about this one? Let's see if this one also works. 0, 2, no. 2, 3, no. -1, +4, no. So based on that, you guys should be able to do number 4, find which one is a solution, or which ordered pair is a solution that should lie on the graph. Number 5 and 6, let's scroll down. Number 5 says, enter the value of x that makes the given equation true. In other words, solve this. So when I'm solving, what value is x in order for 9x equals 3? I would get x equals 3 over 9, which is equivalent to 1 over 3. For number 6, solve the inequality for n. So I would add 3, and I would get 21 is less than n, or n is greater than 21. Remember, when you move the n to the other side, you've got to flip your whole thing, including your inequality. Let's check out 7 and 8. It says, select the graph that best represents the solution set of the linear system, or the system of linear inequalities. So if I'm looking at line 1, in this case, let's first kind of identify. So -3 is going to be my y-intercept. So if I look at the graph, I have a y-intercept at -3. And my slope is up 2 and over 1. Now notice that these are counting by 2's. So we got to pay attention to that. So from here, I'm going to go up 1, 2, and over 1. And then it's a dotted line. So this line right here actually looks like line 1. But we need to pay attention to the shading. So the shading is y is greater, so the shading should be up. Okay, so that one works. Now let's try number 2, or line number 2. I should be at -3, and I go down 1 and over 2. Good. It should be a solid line, and it says y is greater than or equal to, so it should be shading up. So our common shaded region, let me shade with the green. We should have shaded this way. Our common shaded region is in fact this. So A is the correct one. Now what I might have done if this didn't work out, I know that 1 should look like that, right? Line 1 should look like this dotted line here. So I would have checked, okay, yeah, line 1 is there, line 1 is there. Okay, line 1 here should be dotted, right? So we know that we can eliminate choice D. But since A ended up working out perfectly, I know that that is, line 1 lines up there, line 2 lines up there, and the shading is in the correct spot. So it is in fact A. Alright, so the one, let's look at 8. Same type of thing. I'm going to find which one lines up. So if I look at this one, line 1, my y-intercept should be 2, and I should go up 1 and over 2. Well, here, up 1 and over 2, and it's a solid line. Now, y is less than or equal to, so it should be shaded down. So this is what line 1 should look like. I'm not sure about line 2 yet, but I know that this one right here is what line 1 should look like. And if I look at B, do you see how it's dotted? It should not be dotted, right? It should be solid. If I go to C, good, line 1 is there, and even D, if I look at it, line 1 is there. So now let's find line 2. Line 2 should have a y-intercept of 4, and it should be down 2 over 3. So notice that this one does not line up. It should be a negative slope. We've already eliminated choice B, so now we're looking for y-intercept of 4 down 2 over 3. Y-intercept of 4 down 2 and over 1, 2, 3. Good, and it is a dotted line. So which way do we shade? Where y is greater. So we're going to shade up. So C, in fact, does look like the answer, but let's look at choice D and see why it's not. So we said it should be at 4, down 2 and over 3, dotted, and then we said it should have shaded up, but do you see here they shaded down for D, so that's why D is not the correct answer. Alright, number 9. Which inequality represents all possible solutions? I have -4x is greater than or equal to -8. If I divide by -4, now remember I'm dividing by a negative with an inequality. There's a special rule for that. So I have x is, and I have to flip my inequality sign, and I have -8 over -4 is 2. So the answer that matches up here should be C. Alright, let's look at number 10. Number 10 says, David creates a number sequence that has the first term of 3 and a second term of 5. Each term after the second is created by subtracting the term before the previous term from twice the previous term. He uses S of t, should be S of n, I'm sorry, S of n to denote the number n in his sequence. For example, S sub 1 equals 3 and S sub 2 equals 5. Now the reason I knew that that should have been n is because down here in my answer choices I only have n's. So it says, which of the following can be used to find the value S sub n for positive integers n greater than 2. So let's just recap. So s sub 1, so my sequence would go, my first term would be 3. Then my next term, s sub 2, is 5. And then how do I find these other ones? Well, it says each term after the second is created by subtracting the term before the previous term from twice the previous term. So let's just kind of outline what that means. So you're subtracting something from twice the previous term. So twice the term right before would be not n, but n minus 1 because it's 1 before. And you're subtracting something from that. Now what are we subtracting? It says now created by subtracting the term before the previous term. So if this is the previous term, the term before that is n minus 2. So which one of these matches up with that? 2 n minus 2. Negative 2 s of n minus 1. No. 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 It looks like D. Answer choice D. Alright, let's go ahead and move on to number 11. Use the equation below to answer the question. So y equals 2x plus 4. Which equivalent equation is correctly matched with a key feature of the graph of the function it represents? Okay, so let's see. It says y equals 2x plus 2, y equals x, y equals 2x plus 2, y equals 2x plus 2, y equals 2x plus 2. So if you see that these are the same in all of these, what we're trying to do is figure out, does this highlight that there's an x-intercept at 2? Does it highlight that there's a y-intercept at 2? Does it highlight that there's an x-intercept at negative 2? And does it highlight that there's a y-intercept at negative 2? So which one is it? So I'm just going to show you, since we're dealing with this equation, a lot of the times students like to, well, first of all, let's go here. Y equals mx plus b. If you think of it this way, we know that the y-intercept is 4. So any of these that are saying the y-intercept is 2 or y-intercept is negative 2, we know those are wrong, right? Now, coming over here, what I was saying was if we have 2 times x plus 2, a lot of times kids like to think, oh, x is 2. Well, it's not, because if you were solving for x, and you remember your intercept is when y equals 0, and since y over here is here, we could say, well, y equals 0, right? So if I set this equal to 0, I would get x equals negative 2. So this, in fact, is actually highlighting that there's an x-intercept at negative 2. Alright, number 12. Match the recursive function with the equivalent explicit function. Now, one thing I like to think about with recursive functions is, well, you could do this two ways. You could take 1 and plug it in and see, like, hey, if I plug in 1, I do get 7. If I plug in 1, I don't get 7. If I plug in 1, I don't get 7. If I plug in 1, I don't get 7. But that's not really understanding what a recursive function is. So let me explain it, if you didn't just do the plug-in way. The first is 7. Then the next one, you take the previous term and add 3. So it would be 7 plus 3. And then to get the next one, you'd add another 3. To get the next one, you'd add another 3. You'd add another 3. So for each one, you're adding 3. So I like to think about that as my slope or my rate of change, right? It's what's changing each time you're adding 3, adding 3, adding 3. Okay, now remember, when you plug in 1, your first term should give you 7. So if I plug in 1 here, I would get 3 plus 7, and that gives me 10. If I plug in 1 here, I'd get 3 plus 4, which does give me 7. And now, unfortunately, my videos can only be 15 minutes, so I have about 10 seconds left. So I went ahead and highlighted some important information here for you. Go ahead and read the question and see if this makes sense. 249 students equals 4 on the van plus 7 buses. And if you go ahead and solve for S, you'd get 35 students per bus. Take a minute to see if that makes sense.